Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of That Podcast. Enjoy the show.
It's a go.
Start.
Is that what that is?
Whenever.
Hey, everybody.
I gotta do my scream. You gotta let me know when you want to scream.
Let's hear the scream.
Okay. That's what we're talking about. Not really.
Welcome, everybody, to That Podcast. I'm Pastor DJ, and with me, as always, is Gage Thalman.
I'm not
Lisa
always
Hansen,
here.
Yeah.
Dana Mashevsky.
I'm like, I didn't know you were always here.
I'm always here.
Always.
It's an ongoing bit,
In
as
spirit.
always.
It's all
is
fair.
what we do at
No matter
That
who's
Podcast.
here, it's as always.
So if you heard the scream, then that means it's our annual spooky episode, where we talk about things that are spooky and fun and Halloween-y. And
Lisa's least favorite things.
that's right. But it's a fun time, and we have something fun here at Atonement at this time of year. What is that called?
Who wants to do
That's
it?
when you need the scream.
Do it.
No, who's got this? Oh,
You
yeah.
need the scream.
I think
at this
you
point.
do.
Oh, I need
There's
the scream. Okay.
Yeah. It's called
Spooktacular.
That was really good.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
That was good.
Now you got to hit the
Mark
claps.
really enjoys doing that. He should have
Yay.
been. Oh, yay. I gotta remember to use the saw machine if I'm gonna run it. All right.
So Lisa,
Yeah.
we wanted to talk to you about all kinds of good stuff coming up. One of them being Spooktacular, but what's going on?
The Spooktacular, it is so fun. You know, we do this community outreach, and then I always try to keep the spook out of Spooktacular because it's a family-friendly, fun night,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And they're like, you're going to talk about all the debate on all the Halloween stuff, but I just want people like, you can praise Jesus in the dark, right? So
You
we're all
certainly
about
can.
reaching people, and I love trick-or-treaters. I'll turn my light on for everyone and put the Jesus sticker on every piece of candy and be inviting. But here, and I still have a bunch of Jesus stickers. We do that here too. But
Yeah.
October 29th, Wednesday night at 6:30, this whole church is all on for Spooktacular, and we have a huge trunk or treat with lots of community people and confirmation kids, and we have the bounce houses rocking and the rock wall rocking, and we got the big magic show, which is really fun, and the glow in the dark mini golf.
Yeah.
And we have lots of game rooms and the cakewalk, and it is a really fun family night to come.
It is a really
Lots
fun
of
time, right?
candy. It's a safe environment,
Yeah.
and everything we do points people to Jesus. So that's our main agenda. So
It is so much fun. And on my
concessions.
my own
Food.
my own feed on my phone that kind of like gives picture memories. A picture pulled up of my oldest daughter when she was in confirmation, deciding that for Spooktacular she was going to dress up as her dear old dad.
That was the great year.
That is
That was
fun.
a
And
great-
Yeah.
she's a spitting image. Like she's just a chip off the old block.
That is hilarious.
But that was her scary, spooky costume, was
Yes,
dressing
I
up as me.
liked.
Did she nail it?
She nailed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
With her acting too? Was her mannerisms? Or is she?
A little bit,
Okay,
bit, but
okay.
she's much more fun than me. So I think being reserved was
That's
a bit
funny.
of a trick for her.
Yeah.
But she had
That's
like,
fun.
yeah, I mean, she raided my closet and grabbed a
That
bunch
was
of
a fun
stuff.
year for costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those girls.
Was that? Oh yeah, because that was the year where other confirmation students, they were all one of the pastors. Was
Yes,
that
her
that one?
confirmation
I love
class
that.
was the girls were.
That's so good.
Each
of the-
pastor.
That's
Gotcha.
so good.
So yeah, it was their life group, their small group that met, and I think they were all in like 11th or 12th grade. I think because it was just it was like 2 or
it
3
was like
years
the
ago.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so, but that's really fun to see all of the life groups come together and do a project together, which is meant to be fun. And often it's not like spooky or gross. I think that's the best distinction that I can think of when we talk about Spooktacular and Halloween is it uplifting and building up the community, or is it gross? Sometimes that's hard to tell if something is gross or not, but I think that's a good way to talk about what happens here, because we aim for it to be fun. And that's what we're wanting people to come and have a good, safe place to have a good time.
Yep. Yeah, so Annika,
With some goosebumps. With some goosebumps.
Yeah. Ooh.
Spooky goosebumps.
Annika's birthday is actually on Spooktacular, so the 29th. So she's like, "Thank you for celebrating my day." But yeah, she always says the same thing.
Well, we are now.
Yeah.
She always says the same thing of like, she doesn't really like Halloween, but we like to celebrate fall in our house.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing like ghosts or like anything scary, but
So
it's
you're
like
pumpkins,
pumpkins and orange
Yeah.
and leaves.
Yeah.
You know, that's our
Yeah.
vibe
Pumpkin
in our
spice
house.
and
Yeah.
everything nice.
Yep. Yep.
Gotcha.
1, 2, 3. Having a little trouble hearing me. There we go. That's better. Sorry. Messing with the sound system.
It's funny because I'm watching you and I'm like, I can hear you.
You
But
can hear me?
Then
I
you
can't hear me.
It's like, oh, now I can hear you
It's
better.
our age, Gage.
All right. Well, Gage, what is going on with you? For people who don't know, and I don't know why you wouldn't know, come and meet these great folks. Gage Stallman oversees our high school ministry, our young adult ministry, does all kinds of great stuff all over the place.
Those are my two specialties.
Jack of many trades,
Yeah.
master of none.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Lisa Hansen is director of our life group ministries and getting people together. It's like your Holy Spirit power is getting people together.
I say it's turning rows into circles.
Yes.
That's our goal. But yeah.
So
I
what's
think that is the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Oh, have you?
we're now gonna make some shirts.
I
Turning
think
rows
that's
into
next time.
circles.
Come up with that.
I say it. It's not any marketing thing. I just say that. So maybe we could. No, I don't know.
That's a
Go
great
ahead,
idea.
Gage.
Turning
Yeah.
rows into circles. Anyway,
Um,
what are you up to?
Yeah, so we have been doing high school like youth group every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8:30. It's just been so good. We've had lots of students that are like new this year, like big groups. I was talking to Mark of like, what happens if I have too many kids and we don't fit in our room anymore because we use the whole basement and everything. And it's like with small group leaders, I think we were close to 70. And you're like, it smells down here
Yeah.
because it's like been
Did you
warm.
put-
Yeah. Yeah.
A bunch of high schoolers in a not well ventilated
I know.
room.
Well,
Not-
that's the problem. It's like I need a vent or a fan.
Is it like when my kids and I drove through Nebraska many years ago and they're like, what's that smell? I'm like, that's the smell of victory
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
money.
Nice.
the smell of money? That's
Smell
what
of
my grandpa
money.
says. Yep.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yep. So no, it's been really great. We just finished a series, a book by David Zoll called The Big Relief, and it's talking about a bunch of different things. And the idea is like the urgency of grace in a worn-out world. So maybe I put it on to the high schoolers. I don't really know, but it's like the world that I lived in high school was already accelerating. And then in college and then as a young adult, it's like go to the next thing, like achieve. So just reminding the students and myself and the leaders of like, this does not like rest on your shoulders, whether it's like being forgiven, whether it's like receiving grace, whether it's, all of these things. It's like, yes, we earn them because we do them, but also it has been like given to us by the Lord, So it's just been so good. And last night we talked about rescue, and we talked about, you remember that story in 2018, the kids that were stuck in the
Yes.
cave in Thailand?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was like, has anyone heard this? And a couple of them are like, yeah. And a couple of them are like, no. So I gave like a very animated version of the story. Short story here is that in 2018, there was a group of kids on a soccer team, and their assistant coach took them to a cave and they were going to explore. And he's like, let's walk really far into the cave. And then it started raining, and then it filled up with water.
Yep.
And then they were like stuck in the cave for like spooky season. I guess.
Yes,
They were stuck
yeah.
in the cave for like 10 days, and then they found the kids, and they were all alive, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
But then they had to like give the kids medicine to like pull them out because they were like
Yes.
underwater.
Yes.
And the kids couldn't, like they didn't have gear for them.
Yeah.
Right.
So the author was arguing, it's like, we're like the kids in the cave. We did nothing to be rescued by God, and it'll continue to happen our whole lives. And like, we'll be pulled out safe and sound. And then in the very end, it's like, when we all pass away, it's like, I will need to be rescued finally.
Yeah.
Like again. So it's just been so good. And then we're going to start a series about trees in the Bible of like the tree of life or
Yeah.
like the Zacchaeus tree.
Sure.
Or all of this stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Please, I hope you guys do something on the broom tree.
The broom tree?
Elijah
I don't know-
at the broom tree. It's
Yes.
his place of rest.
Oh.
where he
See? I asked the kids on the slide because I've been doing like an announcement slide, like a slideshow. And one of the questions was, do you guys know how many trees are like mentioned in scripture? And they were like, no. And I was like, neither do I. Let's learn about it.
Yeah. Let's find out.
Yeah. So other than that, we have our young adult community. We meet once a month on Tuesday nights. That was the open day in the calendar. So that's the day that we chose.
And what's the name of the group?
Kaleo.
And what does that mean?
It means, in Greek, it means to call.
Okay.
So I think it's Matthew 3, 4, or 5. I'm blanking on the chapter right now, where Jesus is calling the disciples, and he says, "Follow me," and then he immediately follows up by saying, and then he called them. And then we talk about in Kaleo of like, how are we being called to be disciples of Jesus? Sure. Like, how do we go from being given everything from birth to 18, and then you leave the house, and then it's like, what does it now look like to be a follower of Jesus? It's like, do we go to church less, or do we like try to be involved in our own unique way apart from our family and like create our own like habits and, yeah, so being together, we share a meal, and then we usually do a Bible study, or we always do a game. It's kind of like youth group, but for young adults.
Sure.
But just like,
sure.
Yeah.
It's young
really
adult group.
Young adult group, yeah.
Yeah.
So we love it.
Can I tell you just kind of a silly little memory thing that I do to remember
Always.
How to say kaleo?
Always.
So, and what it means. So in the 80s, there was a TV show called Who's the Boss? Remember Who's the Boss?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Do you remember?
I was an 80s
I wasn't
kid.
there.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
weren't
it
even born.
exist.
Do either of you either of you ever heard of Charmed?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
This is a good spooky thing with Charmed, right? One of the main characters, she started on Who's the Boss, and I'm blanking on her name right now, but the dad on the show was named Tony Danza. I remember his name. And whenever he would call to someone, whenever anyone asked him a question, he'd say, OA, AO. So that's how I remembered what kaleo means. Call AO.
Got it.
So stupid little thing.
Nice.
But it worked for me. Good little.
There you go. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
those learning techniques. But
Hey,
I
those
took-
kids in the cave. Oh, no. Just aside. That's
Yeah.
a movie. You know, you can watch.
Yeah,
the
no,
movie. I'm
there's
just
a
letting you know.
movie,
and
we
then
watched
there's
the
also-
movie. It's good.
Is it from the producer of movies that you like? Like there's
No.
isn't there
Kendrick
one?
Brothers?
Yes.
It is not.
Oh.
No.
But it's
Well,
still a
it's still
good movie.
But they also did like a National Geographic, like hour-long special on it. And they took this machine, because it's 2025. I don't know when they did it, but they took this machine that like scanned the entire cave.
Yeah.
So they could like look at it on a computer without actually going in there of like, okay, where are like the pathways? Because it's like echoing or whatever back to them.
Yeah.
So they could like look at their route before they went. And it's just like, what?
This just
On
happened
Earth.
recently. I mean, it must,
Yeah. It
wasn't
I
that
remember
long.
watching
Yeah.
it on the
Yeah,
news.
2018,
Yeah.
it was like everywhere.
Yeah.
But
But you
anyway.
can see like how narrow
Yeah.
you can see the channels with a real person in there, how narrow it was. So they
Yep.
had to knock the kids out with anesthesia.
That's right.
So they didn't panic.
panic.
Yep.
Right.
Because I would panic. You wouldn't even get me down there. You'd
Yep.
have to knock
Right.
me out cold
Well,
too.
Right.
But
yeah. And then
it's such a good movie. You should
yeah,
watch it with your
it
kids.
said that
really
they
good.
had to like re-up the anesthesia or
Well,
whatever.
they had to carry an extra one because
Yeah,
they
'cause
couldn't get them to stay under
it
the full
couldn't-
time, so
yeah, it
they
wouldn't
had to
last
give
the
them
whole time.
another during a certain time to get them through the whole
crazy stuff.
cave.
Yeah. Yep.
It is. It's one
Wow.
of those. It's
But-
a good show.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway,
Well,
cave.
when you're gonna show that to the kids now that you finish the book,
I
for
know.
those who like movies,
Yep.
maybe you should invite the entire Chosen crew, which is meeting
There
at the
you
same
go.
time,
Yep.
to come and be a part of this. They can come do something together.
we can have it in the fireside.
Yep.
We can do it
Yeah.
in the Ark on the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Love it.
it's fun.
Cool. All right. Plans being hatched. Good deal. So I do this every year because it comes up every year. Just a couple days ago, I had a dad come and ask me about how I feel about Halloween and should Christians be celebrating Halloween? And I've been on all sides of the fence on this one throughout my life. But then, just like anything else, I finally decided to do a a deep dive and look at the history, because everybody loves history and everybody loves
Are you
math.
ready for a history lesson?
History and math.
Yes, when you said math, it's like, oh yeah,
Love this.
yeah.
Sign me up.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the myths and how the myths got there, but what is Halloween, and how should a Christian understand it? How should a Christian engage with Halloween, and is it something that, you know, is even appropriate in a church? Like, for example, we don't call it a Halloween party, we call it spooktacular. Partly because it's just kind of a fun play on words, but it speaks to the fun of the event rather than often people get ideas that Halloween is satanic or demonic or some other type thing.
I thought of that word all by myself when I named it. And then, nope, I guess there's other spooktaculars out there. I'm like, oh, darn it. Oh, well.
You know what? I think you can still say started a trend.
Yeah,
started
you
here.
can claim
there
it.
is,
You definitely can claim
Started
it.
here.
But I was like, you know, when you think of
Poor
inventions and
Lisa.
you go Google it, and there it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta patent it. Yeah.
Darn.
So to speak about Halloween, like, I guess I would start by just asking as an open question, what are some things that are tied up to Halloween that you guys wonder, like, where did this come from? Why do we do it? And why is there this idea that Halloween is like the devil's night?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just the fact that it's, well, maybe just because we live in the Midwest and at the end of October. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not
holy
November
cow.
yet.
October.
Yeah, don't go there yet.
Like, all the trees are dead.
By
Like,
the way, it's
leaves are
October
gone.
and it's 85
I
degrees
know,
today.
Yeah.
I know. But like, all the trees don't have any leaves.
Yep.
And it's like dark out
Yeah.
earlier because daylight savings.
Not yet.
When is that?
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
October, right?
yeah.
Or November.
No, I think it's 1st of November. Is it right?
No,
in
it's
November.
November.
I think it's November.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know,
It's-
like, it's getting dark earlier,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
it's just like a little bit more eerie,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just like it builds up this like weird.
November.
It's this weird like spookiness, and maybe it's because like the culture has done that of like
Yeah.
it's just spooky. But being in the Midwest, it feels like we get this like natural kind of like eeriness to the winter time, or
Yes.
like preparation towards like darkness.
Yes.
And I've always thought it's very intriguing, but I think that's my thought. But I also am curious about why we were like, let's give them candy. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a fun, or like, yeah, it's funny.
I grew up with trick-or-treating, so you know what? And I never
Yeah.
thought of it being bad, even with all the icky costumes you'd see kids, you know, wear, and just the darkness of it. And then you have all the horror shows hit the TV,
Yeah.
right? We didn't have streaming growing up, so you had all the icky movies. And I loved horror movies growing up. I can't stand them now. But I never understood the controversy until I got into ministry
Right.
and really hearing about, you know, because I never heard moms talk about, oh, we're not letting our kids trick-or-treat. Not when I was
Yep.
growing up, but I didn't hear it until
Right.
now.
Right.
And so I thought, then I started like researching it myself, because I'm like, why is that just so bad? Why are people thinking that's just like, why are you making it evil?
Right.
Right? Was it always like, you know, what's the story behind it? So I just started doing my own research on it. I'm like, oh no, this is not, you guys made it this way, and you don't have to keep it that, you know, however our culture has made it to be so dark and evil.
Right.
It's like you can be a light in anything, and I'm like, so I was never gonna follow that crowd. I'm like, I'm turning my lights on, and I'm giving candy. I'm putting Jesus stickers on my candy, and
No.
I like Halloween.
I just recently finished the Christianity Today podcast, The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea.
Okay.
And it's like, the concept is around the satanic panic of the, when was that, 70s, 80s? 80s? Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Anyway, but the idea around like the Christian world was like so infatuated with the idea that like your neighbor was a Satanist.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
like it
was
makes
the
sense
80s.
because like everybody was, you know, the messages that would come through. It's like the conspiracies before like social media could take off, really, of like they're drugging the candy.
Yes.
Or stuff
Oh,
like that.
all that.
Like,
Yes.
yeah. So I
The
think
razor
that
blades and the
yeah,
candy.
all
yeah.
that, and the candy needles, and
So
can I share something about
Yeah.
that? That is a full-blown urban myth.
yeah.
Anyone who's worried about, if you're worried about that, I think cities still do this all over the place. I think it happens in Fargo. You can take your candy to be scanned, but it's it has never
Yeah.
actually been.
It's never actually happened.
It's never actually happened.
Yep. Yeah.
But of razor blades and candy, like it's never actually. There's never been one instance of it actually being.
Yeah.
Maybe it's happened, but no one's ever gone to prison for it. Or
so I think it's just interesting, like listening to it so close to Halloween. It's been one of those things of like, oh wow, like we really, as Christians, I think the general, if I can synopsis this at all, is like he paired it with like stuff that was happening in like the Southern Baptist Convention Synod or whatever, of like leaders that were actually really, really, really badly hurting people around them. And they were using the devil as kind of like but like your neighbor is like probably a Satanist, or like the person down the road is like actually the villain, when like in reality, these people so close to us were actually harming us. When it's so like Christians, it can be so easy to be like, that's the devil. And it's like, yes, 100% the devil is super real, but also like there's like stuff around us that's actually real, instead of like there's like, because everybody, oh man, we just get so caught up in like the what ifs of everything.
You have culture movements like you can call it the zeitgeist, where there's moments of heightened intensity.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, there's fear.
People are created around fear.
And when those things happen, it's always good to step back, hold on to Jesus, and just be like, okay, who's benefiting from this?
Yep. Yeah.
Because people in power, the devil himself, wants people to be afraid, wants people to be separated, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Halloween, interestingly enough, is one of those uniquely Christian experiences that were meant to bring people together. But just like Christmas and just like Holy Week and Easter, materialism is kind of the modern god idol of our world, our culture, especially in the United States, and commercializing all of these events that were meant to build up community and to bless people has run amok. And so just as Easter can be misunderstood in a very commercial way where Christ is taken out of it, and Christmas can have Christ taken out of it, Halloween has had Christ taken out of it as well by the culture. And I think it's a place for the church to speak about what is, to be very Lutheran, meet, right, and salutary, and what isn't. And one of them that I love that you talked about, where does the giving out candy come from? That is actually a uniquely Christian offering to the celebration of Halloween. Like, just a little bit of detail. So Halloween means what? Do you guys know?
All Hallows Eve.
All Hallows Eve. Do you know what hallow means?
Holy.
And to be holified is to be hallowed. So to be made holy is to be hallowed. So All Hallows Eve is a feast. It's a 3-day feast, actually. And it goes back to about 800 AD. And originally, it was the focus was not November 1st. It was in May. But in 800, and it was the connection of 3 celebrations. All Holy Eve was tied to All Saints' Day that happened on the day after the evening. So in the ancient world, all the big celebrations would begin the evening before. At sundown, the party gets started, right? So, and we've adopted that in our big holidays in the United States. You have New Year's Eve, right, before New Year's Day, which isn't necessarily a religious holiday, but you can certainly bring Christ into there too. But Christmas Eve is the start of the celebration on Christmas Day. Holy Week builds to a crescendo. It's a whole week long that builds to Holy Saturday or Easter Vigil. And Easter Vigil is the night right before the resurrection of our Lord on Easter Sunday, which is supposed to happen at sunrise. but it's the crescendo of an all night long worship and celebration. So you're supposed to be up all night as you hear the entire resurrection and salvation story of Jesus Christ throughout the entire Bible. So going way back, that was the norm. And so you had Christmas, you had Easter, which can be traced back really early to the Christian church, and then you have All Saints' Day, which begins with All Hallows Eve the night before and would go on to, I think it was called All Martyrs' Day or All Souls' Day, which is the day after. And what this celebration was that death has been swallowed up in victory and that our loved ones who have died are alive in Christ and that we're going to see them again. Now, about 200 years after the first All Saints' Day, which was around May, it got moved to in the fall. And the reason for why it got moved into the fall is because they had all of these celebrations for all these saints. And it just got to be like, it's kind of like Google, 365 days with like 8 celebrations on every day, like Happy Root Beer Day.
Right.
And so they focused it all on what they called All Hallowtide, which was October 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd. Now, this was done in Rome. And so the modern myth is that Christians came in and basically took over pagan celebrations. And the fact of the matter is, the celebration that's pointed to is what Halloween is about is called, we would say Samhain, but it's basically like Saman. And from what I've read, what this means is summer's end. And every culture everywhere, when the harvest comes in, they have a party. And so because you have, the changing of the seasons, things are getting darker and so on. And so there was always a party in every culture everywhere at the end of summer, in the middle of winter, like around Christmas time, and then in the spring. Well, what happens in Christianity, completely separate from all these things, is Christians from the very beginning were celebrating in the spring Easter. They began celebrating around 140 AD. Christmas around winter, and by 800 AD, the norm was to celebrate All Saints' Day in the fall with the big celebration harvest. Okay, so it really had nothing to do with what was a very minor religious practice in Ireland, because long before the Irish really were connected with Christianity, All Saints' Day was being celebrated through Rome, which is in Italy and all these different places. Are you following me? Mm-hmm. The idea that Christians amalgamated a pagan holiday in order to stamp out the pagans didn't come around until the 20th century. And it was from a resurgence with the internet of pagan culture and a rejection of Christianity, and kind of making moles out of mountains out of molehills about little details in different cultures that seem similar to what was happening within the Christian world, which by that time, from 800, was kind of like the main game in town. It's Christendom at its heart as it was spreading across Europe. Okay, did you follow me that far?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So when we talk about Halloween, the starting point is not paganism, it's Christianity. Like the name itself is the starting point, and it gives the hint there. It's about saints that are redeemed in Christ, and even if they die, they live. Now, why the candy? What's that all about? The big celebration was supposed to be on All Saints' Day, and that practice has not passed down to us in American culture. Instead, we have Thanksgiving, which happens a little bit later, which is tied
I love Thanksgiving
to our country.
Oh.
But in the olden days, that was All Saints' Day, because there wasn't in the United States. So we're talking in Europe, right? Mm-hmm. And so there'd be a big like Thanksgiving feast for the redemption of loved ones who are now in heaven. Okay. But the night before, you have kind of the fun party that the entire community would get around to, and kids would go around to houses seeking what were called soul cakes. So they go in and knock on a door, and they would come in, and the kids would pray with the family, and then the family would give them soul cakes. It reminds me a little bit of like people going around singing carols. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us, right? In England. It's this all the same culture we're talking about. England, Germany, medieval European culture. So soul cakes is the most likely starting point of candy being handed out to people who go and knock on your door.
So it's bribes.
It's
very Christian. We feed
It's
people
very
all the
Christian.
time. We eat together, you break bread together.
break bread
we
together.
eat candy together.
But they're really
works
cool.
righteousness.
It's
We're gonna pray, and
What?
then you're gonna give me candy, right?
Yeah.
Like, do this thing, and then you can get candy. Okay,
Right.
I can do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
right.
What do you want?
Right.
Thanks for joining us for that podcast. Don't forget, you can find all of our services online every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for a tradition service or 10:30 a.m. for a modern service. You'll find them at atonement.live, atonementfargo.org, or on YouTube, where you can also find all of our library of content. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on another riveting episode of That Podcast.